Welcome to episode 1 of Thriving Scrubs. This episode is going to be about Hour of Devastation draft, and we're going to briefly touch on cheating in Magic the Gathering.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Thriving Scrubs podcast. It's the very first one. To everyone who knows who we are on YouTube, hello, welcome back. We are also making a foray into iTunes, I hear.
Yeah, this is an official podcast now. We're going to be putting this on iTunes. So for those who don't know, we're Jack and Dave. I'm Dave.
I'm Jack.
And we're the Thriving Scrubs. So we're going to be talking about Magic the Gathering. That's pretty much the topic.
That's in general. There'll be some tangents, a few tangents.
Oh, there'll be some tangents.
And this, I'm not editing this. I can't be bothered.
This is
going to
just
be
gonna
too
be
long,
raw.
so we'll just see.
Raw, unedited footage.
First off, actually, we should make an apology to anyone who watched our last video on YouTube. We got a new mic, and we're learning how to use it.
Hopefully this one will sound a bit less.
This one should... Basically, we used to be borrowing a mic, but now that mic's gone. So Dave went and bought a mic that's it's the equivalent of living in the inner city and buying a Ferrari. Just be like, yes, look how big and shiny my thing is.
It's a big shiny mic. There's no
big
question.
shiny mic, but yeah, the gain was up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Hopefully the audio will be fixed now, especially since this will be available in an audio-only format. So here's a little bit about what we're about. We've got a YouTube channel already. Just find it by looking for Thriving Scrubs. But by and large, we're sort of casual Magic the Gathering players.
Yeah.
You know, we try to play well. I think by and large, we try to win.
There are some arenas of Magic where we look real good.
Yeah.
But then we turn up at a GP and...
Yeah, exactly. I think we're sort of venturing closer towards the title of FNM Heroes. I think that's what we're approaching, because that's the term that people, the more competitive players use to describe, big fish in a little pond.
Okay, I'm happy to call myself that.
That's what I'm working towards. That's the level I want to reach.
Call myself that in front of people who don't know what Magic is. And I'm like, wow, you must be amazing.
If you don't know what Magic is, this might not be the best podcast.
No, it's the best podcast.
I'll go do some research and then come back. But yeah, so Jack, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, the first, I do have an agenda. It's 23 words long. And we're technically already 3 words through it.
Amazing.
Yeah. We went to the first paper, Hour of Devastation, Amonkhet draft yesterday. We were both massive fans of just straight Amonkhet. That set was a lot of fun. It was very aggressive, so you had to bear that in mind, but it was fun to draft. So it was our first Hour of Devastation draft yesterday. And we, as a pair, we went undefeated.
We did, yeah.
We went 5-0-1. I took a draw in my first round. Mm-hmm. So that was good. FNM Heroes.
FNM Heroes.
Backing it up
This
every
is my
week.
Point.
You should have your deck somewhere. Where is it?
We'll find it. Don't worry about it. It's around.
So I think first we should talk about the drafts physically as they went. I can remember my first 3 picks of pack 1, and they're rather fun picks. I first picked Overcome.
Ooh.
How do you feel about Overcome?
I really like the look of Overcome.
You bloomin' love Trample anyway.
I love Trample, and I mean Overcome is obviously a reference to Overrun, which I think is by and large considered to be a really unfair card in Limited.
It's too good. Yeah, it grants your creatures +3/+3. This grants +2/+2. I still won 3 games with it yesterday. It is great.
I mean, since we're in an audio-only format, what does Overcome do?
Oh, Overcome, yeah. It costs 3 and 2 green for a sorcery. Creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain trample until end of turn. That's uncommon.
So when you were first picking that, what was your plan?
Well, the first pick was between that and Angel of the Godfarer, which is just it's just a creature. It flies, it cycles, it's really safe. But I thought, if I pick Overcome and tend towards the colours green, white, and red, because I believe those colours have the best 2-drops and 3-drops, just take them all and just curve out into Overcome, then that should be fine. That was a plan. I don't know if that's safer than Angel of the God-Pharaoh overall, but it's one I definitely wanted to try. My second pick kind of confirmed that plan. My second pick was Overcome.
Right.
Yeah. So at that point I went pick 1 and pick 2 both Overcome, and I got tunnel vision at that point.
That's when it kicks in.
Yeah. Third picked Struggle to Survive, which is a split card. The first half Struggle costs 2 and a red for an instant. Struggle deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. That spell's brilliant. Like turn 3 through to turn 10, it escalates with the creatures they're playing, because they're going to play a 3-power creature on turn 3, you can kill it. They're going to play a 5-power creature on turn 5, you can kill it. It's really, really nice. And then the Aftermath Survive is a sorcery, costs 1 and a green. Each player shuffles his or her graveyard into her library. Very unlikely to come up.
Yeah.
I didn't cast it.
You just ignore that part.
Ignore it. So yeah, I just at that point picked red and green creatures because that seemed to be where I should be. I didn't see any red removal, and it did turn out after the draft that I was competing for red quite a bit. What ended up happening in pack 2, to start pack 2, I opened Kefnet's Last Word, which costs 2 and 2 blue for a sorcery. Gain control of target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. And I don't know, would you have picked that? I just picked green and red creatures, cards, all the way through pack 1, and then opened Kefnet's Last Word with no other card I wanted in that pack.
It would depend what's in the pack. I think the context is important there because, if there was a relatively solid green or red creature, I might have bid towards that.
Nope. No open fire, no consuming whatever that is.
Yeah.
No Kenra Scrapper, no dregs. So I picked Kefnet's Last Word.
That's fair enough. Did you end up running it? Okay.
Pack 2 was strange for me. I don't know how, but I think the 2 people on my left were in red.
Right.
I think I saw the dude on my left had 2 open fires, and I did not see any all game, so they must have been in the pack going right, which was kind of unfortunate for me. I did take Kefnet's Last Word on a complete punt. I thought I could change. I've got very strong green. It's possible. I do want to play with these cards when I can, because the lands don't untap thing, we're not sure how we feel about that yet, but in limited and in constructed. So I wanted to give it a shot. My second pick of pack 2 was River Hoopoe.
Go on, run us through River Hoopoe.
River Hoopoe was might have been better than Overcome in my deck. I bloody love it.
Right.
Costs a green and a blue for a 1/3 bird creature. It has flying, and you can pay 3, a green and a blue. You gain 2 life and draw a card.
Gain 2 life.
At
That's
uncommon.
not bad.
The 2 life is relevant. You don't want to spend cards on gaining 2 life, but when it comes as a cheeky upside to a bunch of other abilities, it's good. This is such a green-blue card.
Yeah.
Such a green-blue card. So that kind of messed me up because neither of those cards, Kefnet's Last Word or River Hoopoe, are particularly aggressive at all.
No, and I mean River Hoopoe goes okay with Overcome.
Yeah, it doesn't go terribly.
Yeah, it's a 3/5 Trampler's not bad.
But it just, that second pack, all the red was being eaten, and I didn't see much green either. And I ended up not quite knowing where I was going into. A Sinuous Striker wheeled. It wheeled
Striker came all the way
the
back.
table. I opened it, and it came all the way back.
This often happens when you're doing the first draft of a set, I think, because part of it would just be that we're evaluating cards differently to other people. It could well be that other people don't think that card's as good as we do.
I was really impressed by it.
I mean, go through Sinuous Striker.
Right.
I mean,
it's
what
got a
does it
lot
do?
on it. It costs 2 and a blue for a 2/2 Naga Warrior creature. You can pay a blue. Sinuous Striker gets +1, -1 until end of turn.
Yeah, so it's a 2/2 that can become a 3/1.
Yeah. It eternalizes with a cost of 3 blue and discard a card. 3 and 2 blue.
So it's a cheap mana cost, but you do have to just, pitch a land or something that you're not going to use.
You pitch a land or whatever.
A desert, ideally.
Dork. Yeah, a desert would be nice. But once you've got the 4th, as I think with all of these eternalized creatures, once they're eternalized, it's a really nice creature. Adorned Pouncer, you play it because it comes back.
Yeah.
This creature, you just trade up or just trade, and then you eternalize it and feel pretty good about it. So that wheeled. So I didn't know where I was going into pack 3. Then in pack 3, I saw 2 early Nephcrop Entanglers. I won't bother, it's a good red 2-drop. So again, that was in the aggro zone. Then I got 2 Naga Vitalists, which is in a...
This is confusing.
It was a confusing draft.
I'd love to have seen this draft from see your perspective here, because it sounds like a really confusing draft.
It was.
Yeah.
Got a Shefet Monitor and a Greater Sandworm. Again, that's not aggressive, that's more rampy, big dudes kind of thing.
I don't mind having a Greater Sandworm in most of my green decks. Just having a nice big green finisher, it's hard to block.
Yeah, but what with the Naga Vitalists, and in fact, it's worth mentioning the 4-drop I picked up, the Oasis Ritualist.
Oh, that's a new one.
3 and a green for a 2/4 Naga Druid. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any colour, or exert it and tap it to add 2 mana of any colour. And at that point, you can live the dream of a turn 4 Sandworm. You go Naga Vitalist into Ritualist into Sandworm. So
it sounds like you had sort of 2 ideas going on at the same time.
Yeah.
You had the Overcome plan, and then you had quite a late move into a ramp plan.
Well, I think if I hadn't if I hadn't gone pick 1 Overcome, pick 2 Overcome, I would have played green blue, I think. But because I kept seeing the odd, I did get a Kenra Scrapper, I got a few Nefcrop Entanglers, I couldn't let that go. And maybe the disciplined thing to do would have been to see a Kenra Scrapper and go, nope, I have to be sensible about this. Or maybe by the time I was on pack 3 with the Nefcrop Entanglers, be more sensible with it and take, I can't remember what was in the packs, but there would have been something. I don't think the power was pretty high in that draft.
I mean, the thing about Overcome, and I haven't played with it too much, but it seems like something that is vaguely relevant, is the caliber of the creatures you're picking, once you've got an Overcome, is a bit less important.
Absolutely.
It's more just about having them.
Well, I was running a Feral Prowler, I was running that red 2/2 for 2 because I don't care. I just want to play a creature on turn 2 because if you go 2, 3, 4 Overcome.
Yeah, it could be a 2/2, a 2/3, and a 3/4 to an Overcome, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Yeah. So that was kind of it. I guess you can imagine how my games went from that. Sometimes I drew really weirdly, and it was all out of sync, and I got like my aggro cards at the wrong time and my rampy cards at the wrong time. Sometimes it all worked out. I think I was looking at it thinking this is 2-1, maybe 1-2. So I think I got a little bit lucky on some draws. Came up against an Angel of Condemnation. That card is absurd. It's ridiculous.
That's the 3 and a white Angel, yeah?
It costs 2 and 2 white for a 3/3 flying vigilance. You can pay 2 and a white and tap it to exile target creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, or you can pay 2 and a white, tap it and exert it to just exile a creature.
Yeah, I played with that card at pre-release. It's really good.
It's really, really good. So versatile, and I think oddly, the vigilance adds so much.
No, it does, definitely.
Because what my opponent did to kill me in game 1 was attack with it and then exert it. You can do that. And
definitely.
It's very, very versatile. You can exert it anytime, any place.
Anywhere,
as long as you're in the shop.
Yeah, it's a really scary card to come up against.
It is, yeah. I wasn't happy about that. Fortunately, I didn't come up against the Bolas.
So were you playing just towards Overcome by and large? Because I think by the time I've got 2 Overcomes in my deck, my whole game plan is just get as many creatures out and keep them out so I can win with an Overcome.
Yeah, I did start to question my tactics and sort of think, am I playing bad Magic right now? Statistically, am I playing bad Magic? Because I was not attacking when they weren't favourable attacks, but I could have made a nice trade or something. I could have done something, and I did nothing because I thought if I draw Overcome next turn, there's a 1 in 26 chance I'll draw Overcome next turn, and then I'll do really well. And
2 in 26.
I did,
got 2 of them.
So I did catch myself doing that, but I did go 2-0-1. So maybe it's fair. I didn't always see Overcome. I did win a few games just off River Hoopo.
So the message here is spend less time thinking about drawing Overcome and just play a bit quicker, and you'll go 3-0.
Yeah, potentially.
That sounds like you were overthinking things a bit.
Well, 2 of my games went to time, and that never happened in Amonkhet. So I think this set has slowed the format down quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to tell though at this stage because I think by and large early on with new formats, even if they are really aggressive, people haven't necessarily clocked onto that yet. Because what happens is because draft is self-correcting, what will happen is in a very aggressive format, initially people will just start playing, usually quite a few 3-drops and 4-drops, and then people will start winning with loads of 2-drops.
Yeah.
And what happens then is everyone notices and goes, oh, I need to pick 2-drops much higher. Yeah. And then, the more expensive cards get valued as being worse. So it sort of changes.
And it is true. Also, I mean, I completely include us in this statement, but there are a lot of Magic players who are sort of slaves to the articles.
Definitely.
That get, to Frank Carsten's evaluation of the meta.
Louis Scott Vargas, whatever he says.
Just whatever he says, do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's true. If someone next week writes an article going 2-drops, then I'm just going to start. Then everyone will start doing that.
When Paolo Vitor Damaderosa inevitably comes out with his article saying aggro is the best in this format,
Slitherblade's got even better.
For the past 3 or 4 sets, a few weeks after it's come out, Paolo has written an article about how he always wants to be aggressive.
He was the one who said Slitherblade was broken, right? Was it Paolo?
I don't know if it was him who came up with that idea, but
he wrote an article on it. I think.
Yeah, he's always chiming in. I think the thing is, Paolo just likes playing aggressive decks.
He does,
and
he's also very good at it.
Don't get me wrong, he's an amazing Magic player.
Paolo, come at us.
Yeah, Paolo, you're welcome to come on the show if you want, but just to defend yourself from this scathing attack. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm hesitant to come up with any sort of definitive statements at this stage because I think it is going to be about how the format evolves. And yeah, you're right. There is the metagame behind it of what people are thinking going into the draft.
Do you not believe? I'll come on to this later. Do you think that Magic's metagame? There are parts of it that are kind of social constructions.
Yeah, definitely.
People just believe. As long as everyone believes, like say right now, people are basically ignoring Eldrazi. You don't really see Eldrazi around. There was a red Eldrazi deck that snuck into a list a few weeks ago. But I kind of believe sometimes that there are decks out there, maybe not when Marvel was around, but now, there are decks out there that no one is playing and that is the best deck. But just because everybody focuses on these 1 or 2 or 3 decks, you create the metagame yourself, sort of, through this narrative. Do you know what I mean?
This is getting profound. So yeah, what you're saying is that if I'm understanding you correctly, it's just about where people happen to be going with things, and the word about that spreads, and that ultimately affects people's decisions down the line. So in any given format, if we're talking about constructed here, which I think we are, if we're talking about constructed in any given format, it's not certain that the best deck will ever be found.
And say, for example, a card like maybe a really aggressive insult to injury deck. Or Oracle's Vault or something. I love Oracle's Vault.
Is more likely to be
but not even any specific card. But say there is a moment in time in Magic where there's a card that's really bad because these 2 decks are in the format, and there's this list. This list has posted really good results for 3 days, and everyone completely forgets about this card because it's not good right now. Then it shifts slightly, but people don't remember this card exists.
Yeah.
It's a kind of impossible task to...
There's a lot of cards.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
The standard is huge right now. It's really, really big. You know exactly, because they changed the rulings, didn't they, on set rotation?
Yeah, so, I mean, we're off on a bit of a tangent here, but I like it, so let's keep running with it. So originally, the way it was going to rotate is that the Return to Zendikar block, the Battle for Zendikar block, would have already rotated by now.
Yeah.
That was a change they made. There was quite a lot of uproar about that, partly because people wanted their standard cards to be playable for longer, which is an understandable thing to be saying. So they ultimately changed it back into this longer rotation schedule, which does mean there are more sets in standard at a given time. It also means that Kaladesh, for example, is going to be in standard for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, the Kaladesh block was basically when that change was reversed, so it's going to be in standard for a good long while. Which is probably why so many Kaladesh cards got banned, like Smuggler's Copter, because otherwise it would have been around forever.
Well, that's why, I think it was a bad idea to flip-flop on it, because not only does it feed into this mentality now that Magic players will go, well, ban it then. Ban Hour of Devastation, the card. Because
let's not even go into
I don't
that.
like it, just ban it, and they expect it to happen. Pray that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Gideon's still here. Heart of Kieran's still here. It's ridiculous. Those cards, I feel, should be gone by now. We'd be having...
Yeah, Gideon should have rotated out.
Gideon should be gone. I'm bored of Gideon.
Yeah,
I played against Gideon earlier today.
Heart of Kieran's fine.
Well, it's got worse. But, that is why they banned Smuggler's Copter, because that card would not have gone anywhere. That card was too good. I can't remember how we got to where we are.
But no, I think it's ultimately we started with the idea of draft being self-corrected and went on a bit of a tangent about the metagame of Magic, which, if you're new to Magic, welcome.
All you
if
need
you're new to
know.
Magic and you've stuck with us this far, well done. But it's that idea, because there is the mental game going into a draft that is fundamentally important, because people have these preconceptions that they've picked up from the community, from talking to other people, from the drafts they've done, that is going to affect what they think is good. Like, for example, we have come out of Amonkhet, where 2-drops are really important, so we're going in knowing that cards like Gustwalker are going to be very good. And, you know, in a different world, in a different setting, in a different context, you might go in where your experience with drafts has been, I've always done really well going into a draft when I've picked really expensive green creatures. And that's going to affect a lot of different things. So I think that's interesting to know. I mean, do you have anything more to say about the games you played? Anything that sort of came up that was of note?
No, other than it felt a bit more sealedy. It felt a lot more sort of. There were lots of board stalls. 2 of my matches went to time, but it didn't feel too different. Our evaluation, check it out on YouTube, of the shut up. Of the commons, like Kenra Scrapper is very good. Obviously the red removal is very good. The black removal is very good.
Yeah, there's lots of good removal.
There's a lot of good removal, and I quite like that. To be honest, having good removal isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I had loads of really good removal, and it just helps.
And it's even. I mean, green's got ambuscade. It's not like one color has lost out. Blue doesn't really ever get proper removal, but it's got
No.
unsummon, which is very
Yeah.
good against the token. So it looks like a fun set. I'm looking forward to drafting more archetypes and hopefully dirbling a bit more. I do want
Yeah,
to.
putting the hours in. I think blocking's a bit more feasible as well because you've got new cards like Obelisk Spider, for example.
Love
the
Obelisk
1/4
Spider.
with reach. When it does damage to a creature, you put a -1/-1 counter on that creature.
Yeah.
And then whenever you put a -1/-1 counter on a creature, you basically drain your opponent for 1.
That card wrecks a Ketra's Avenger.
Yeah, it's a really, really nice card. It wrecks so many things, and I think it's possible that blocking is a bit more feasible now, because in Amonkhet it was really hard to block.
Yeah.
There were loads of really aggressive Exert creatures, which show up a bit less now. There are still good aggressive Exert creatures.
What do you think to the Wall of Forgotten Pharaohs? Because I've seen people playing it, and I've seen people picking it. It is a big wall that basically pings for 1.
I don't really like it.
That's my instinct. But
yeah, when I'm talking about a good blocker, particularly because there's Afflict, when I'm talking about a good blocker, the thing that makes Obelisk Spider so much better than that is that Obelisk Spider actually messes up the creature that it's blocking.
Yeah.
So even if you're taking some damage from Afflict, you're still having an impact on the creature that you're putting it in front of. Whereas with that wall, yes, it is a clock. If you've got a desert out, you can start just pinging away for 1 life, but that's not going to add up very quickly.
It just came into my head. And what if you've got 3 of them?
Yeah,
At what point?
I mean, sure, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if it was good. I like playing decks like that, where it's very sort of slow and calculated, and it's all about being inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm going to win eventually. You have to stop me.
There was a good wall, wasn't there? Guardians of Melitus?
Guardians of Melitus was all right.
It was all right.
We've seen
Fortified Ramparts was a 0/6 for 2.
Yeah, we've seen some good blockers in the past.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have a deck that relies more on blockers than attackers. That's always fun, and I think there are some good blockers.
Yeah.
But there's still quite a lot of aggressive creatures, so I wouldn't be surprised if the format ended up being, if not as aggressive as Amonkhet, still veering on the aggressive side.
I think draft just does.
Yeah.
So if you're going to draft a deck that's not play creatures, win game, you've got to be quite good at drafting. You have to build a deck in your head whilst you're drafting it. You have to know, right? I need to prioritize this removal over this card draw because I picked that 3 picks ago. Whereas if you're drafting aggressively, you just go, oh, cool, a 2-drop with 2 or more power.
Yeah, there's usually a good aggressive deck you can draft in every format,
and
it's always something that you have to bear in mind if you're not drafting an aggressive deck.
Exactly.
You have
to beat those decks.
If I'm playing against the red-black vampires deck, I need to know that I can deal with that and not just get run over.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So for my draft...
Speaking of aggressive decks...
Go on, yeah.
Your deck.
Yeah, so I first picked Hour of Glory, which to me just seems like a really vanilla first pick.
Oh, it's a great first pick.
It's a great first pick, but it's very vanilla.
Tell me what it does.
So Hour of Glory costs 3 and a black. It's an instant, exile target creature. That's all you need.
Boom.
There's some other text on it, which is if that creature was a god, its controller reveals his or her hand and exiles all cards from it with the same name as that creature.
Unlikely to come up in limited, but it's not impossible, is it, Dave?
It's not impossible. We'll get to that. Yeah. So Hour of Glory, it impressed me throughout the night. It's just a really strong removal spell.
Yeah.
And I was very happy just to first pick that.
Final reward, 1 cheaper. Is it sorcery speed?
It's instant speed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that card's very good.
It's very good. It's rare for a reason.
Yeah.
It is a strong card. After that, I picked up a white removal spell, which I believe was Desert's Hold.
Very good spell.
Yeah, so it's basically like a pacifism effect, which for those who don't know, it's 2 and a white. You enchant the creature with it. That creature can't attack or block. And can its activated abilities be activated?
No, someone enchanted my hoo-hoo with it.
Yeah, its activated abilities can't be activated. And if you've got a desert out or a desert in your graveyard, when it enters, you gain 3 life.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really nice card. So I was just
I'll be picking that quite highly. I think.
Yeah, I was just picking removal spells. Often early in the draft, I'll pick up removal spells, particularly early in a format, because they're always useful. You can get to a point where you've got too many, and you run out of ways to actually win the game.
Yeah.
So, I was conscious that I'd need to pick up some creatures. And just, going forwards, I picked up a few good red cards that were coming around. I picked up Open Fire, the 2 and a red, do 3 damage to a creature or player. But then about 4th or 5th pick, I got past the new white-black uncommon, which is very much a zombies card. It's called Unraveling Mummy. It costs 1 a white and a black for a 2/3 zombie. And you can pay 1 and a white to give target attacking zombie lifelink until end of turn, or you can pay 1 and a black to give target attacking zombie death touch until end of turn.
Card seems brilliant.
Or you can do both. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's really good. I mean, it's worth remembering that it's only an attacking zombie, but still, it just means that when you get into these board stalls, you can take one of your zombies and just threaten to kill whatever they block with it, and gain a bunch of life in the process. If they double block it, you can give it death touch and kill both their creatures. It's a really threatening card.
Makes blocking really difficult.
Yeah, and then a few picks later, I got another one because when I picked the first one, I was thinking, okay, let's see if white black zombies is a thing I can move into here.
Yeah.
You know, often these multicolored uncommons are for that in limited. Like they're the signpost cards.
Yes.
Here's what this archetype is about. So when I got the second one, it was very much okay. Let's see how many zombies I can pick up.
Yeah, at that point, the value of a card that says zombie on it just goes up and up and up.
Yeah. By the end of the draft, I had 12 zombies.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
12 zombies and 3 non-zombies. But yeah, I got loads and loads of zombies of, varying quality.
Yeah.
Marauding Bone Slasher, which is 2 and a black for a 3/3 zombie Minotaur that can't block unless you've got another zombie. That was pretty solid in my deck.
Doesn't seem like you wanted to block too much, to be honest.
No. I mean, the deck was relatively aggressive. It wasn't aggressive in that it had loads of 2-drops. I think I had about 4 or 5 2-drops.
Right.
A really aggressive deck probably wants 6 or 7. But, it was just all about having these zombies. And then ultimately I picked up a bunch of synergy cards to go with that.
Uh-huh.
So when Amonkhet came around, I picked up not 1 but 2 copies of Time to Reflect. Which it's a good card for this kind of archetype because nobody else wants it.
Yeah.
Nobody else come at Amonkhet. If no one else is in black-white zombies, they're not going to pick this card because it's not going to do anything.
No one will take it unless they're hating
Yeah.
or they're scrubs.
But more than a quarter of my deck was zombie cards.
Yeah.
So it was very playable and it was really useful because people don't necessarily expect it. I think, first draft of the format as well. But yeah, I caught loads of people out with this.
Swords to plowshares.
Yeah, basically. Better. It's a bit conditional because the creature you exile has to have blocked or been blocked by a zombie this turn.
It costs 1 white. It's an instant, by the way.
It costs a white mana, instant speed, exile target creature that blocked or was blocked by a zombie this turn.
Yeah.
It's just so threatening. You can get rid of so many good cards with this, and I did.
Yeah.
It was a really, really useful thing to have.
And in limited, often the turning point in limited often is when it's the first player to cast 2 good spells in a turn, and that for 1 mana.
Yeah.
1 mana removal. You play a creature and then exile their creature. I imagine that's often the turning point on turn 4 or 5.
Yeah, and it's very easy to leave up.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, several turns in a row, I'd play a 3-drop and leave up a white mana, and just have that option available to me. And if it didn't turn up, fine. It's still in my hand. I can still use it later.
Yeah.
So yeah, the deck ended up looking really good. Actually, it had a whole bunch of removal spells. A Trial of Solidarity, which wasn't actually that good because I didn't really have many cartouches. That's the enchantment for 2 and a white that gives you creatures +2/+1 and vigilance until end of turn. It's still good.
It's good without any
It's
cartouches.
still good.
Obviously, it gets better.
I kind of wanted to pick up a black cartouche or something, but I just didn't see any.
You come on, mate. Your deck.
My deck was pretty sweet.
You can check it out on Twitter. It was a better deck than mine on paper. I would have been excited to play that deck.
Yeah, I was very happy with it. It played really well. The games I lost, it was largely due to my mistakes. It was just keeping hands that weren't very good, or ultimately just not playing it optimally. That's.
But still 3-0.
Still 3-0. Yeah. My round one opponent was playing a green-black deck, and ultimately, game 1 they cast Doomfall on me and chose to reveal my hand, and my hand in game 1 of round 1 was so good. So my starting hand was 3 lands and 4 creatures that all cost 2 or 3 mana, and then I drew more creatures that cost 2 or 3 mana. So when he cast Doomfall, I revealed a swamp and then just creatures.
God.
All that I could cast and all that were strong.
Yeah, what do you do? Doomfall, I would not main deck, I don't think.
No, I don't think it's worth main decking necessarily, but you could see on his face when he saw my hand that he knew he wasn't going to beat that hand. And then, game 2, he flooded out a bit. So did I, but the thing about the deck I was playing was it had ways to win in a long game.
Yeah.
I had the sort of, because once you've got your zombies out, you can start activating the abilities on the uncommon zombie. You can just play your zombies out initially and then just start using these mana sync abilities just to gain life, kill stuff, just do stuff like that. And I had plenty of removal to back my zombies up, so anything I couldn't kill normally, get rid of with the removal spell and just swing with. They're quite big, a lot of the zombie cards.
Talk to me, in fact, because this is a card we've not really been quite able to speculate on, because we're finding it because it's so situational. I feel like every time you cast it, it's going to be different. It's Torment of Venom.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened when you cast it.
Well, Torment of Venom, I think the main thing about it is the put 3, so it's 2 black for an instant, put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature, and then you've got this Torment effect, which is its controller loses 3 life unless he or she sacrifices another non-land permanent or discards a card. So they're presented with a choice, basically.
Yeah.
You lose 3 life, discard a card, or sacrifice a non-land permanent. It's just a nice upside, frankly. I don't think it's worth being the focus of this card. I think the focus of this card is 3-1
Yeah,
mana.
I agree.
Mana.
So were you not able to leverage too much extra value?
I'll tell you what did happen. My round 2 opponent did his maths wrong. So basically, I cast this, and he clearly, having read that generally you just want to lose the life, he lost the life and left himself dead on board. So
oh dear!
He lost the life. It was during my turn that I cast this. I think I had 5 power on the board. He was at 8 life. I cast this to kill one of his creatures, and he went, "Yeah, sure, I'll just lose the life. Swing for 5." You've got to pay attention. You have to pay attention. You can't just lose the life without thinking about it. He should have discarded a card or sacrificed something.
Done anything but lose.
Yeah, he just left himself. He was tapped out, just dead on board. So do pay attention to it. It's not nothing. Then my round 2 opponent was. He was.
Should we get on to your round 2? Should we leave that and that's the next topic?
Yeah, because we won't talk any. I mean, the rest of the games were pretty much as I described them, but my round 2 opponent will lead us into our next topic. So the first thing of note with this guy is, I think quite often in draft pods you get someone who's just, when people pull well, some people like to talk about it.
There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't.
Yeah, fundamentally, it's an F&M draft. If you pull an invocation or a god or something, by all means, announce it to the table.
Exactly. A friend of ours pulled Bolas, and everyone knew about it, and everyone was, you Bolas. But at no point was it, you're all dead. Yeah. I've got Bolas.
Yeah, so this guy, he picked up, I think it was pack 1, pick 1, he got the Locust God.
Yep.
And then when he opened Amonkhet, he got a Hazaret.
Yep.
So he had 2 on-coloured gods. And, fair enough, he was talking about that, because that's pretty lucky and pretty exciting.
Fun.
They're 2 very good gods. He described them as unbeatable bombs. Which is a phrase I don't like to use about limited, because there's nothing in limited.
There's nothing in
unbeatable.
The thing that's you did have 2 time to reflect.
Yeah.
An hour of glory, ways to deal with those cards.
Yeah, I had ways that specifically are really good at dealing with gods.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately a bit of hubris on his end did let him down, because the way he was playing was of a man who could not lose.
Yeah.
And he very much could.
You never want to play it like that in Magic.
No.
That's the easiest way to lose.
The first thing on your mind every turn should be, what happens when I do this?
Yeah.
Is this going to hurt me?
Am I going? Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I not lose the game?
Yeah.
How do I win the game?
How's my opponent trying to win? I think once you're thinking about that, you're going to generally play better. If you're thinking about how your opponent is going to beat you.
Yeah.
Even if they're really behind.
And people do make as silly a mistake as losing 3 life. People do just go on an all-out attack, and you're like, all right, well, I'll just attack you back, and that wins. It's silly to say, and obviously we've made these mistakes.
Yeah, I do this all the time.
I've made every mistake in Magic. I used Fervent Paincaster terribly yesterday. I was really annoyed. So it does happen. So that's worth thinking about. The topic we're moving on to then, this guy brings us on to, is cheating.
Yeah.
In Magic the Gathering.
Precisely. So I'll give you a rundown of the game and what led to the cheating, because I think we'll be talking about cheating more broadly, but in this specific context. So I beat the guy in 2 straight games. He did get the Locust God out in game 2, but ultimately, he swung for what he thought was lethal. I killed one of his attackers and then swung back and won the game.
Yep.
That happens. That's Magic.
Yes.
You can't just play around everything. And then this player, who, by the way, I'm not going to name names obviously, but is a level 1 judge.
Right.
He told me that several times. Immediately after the game, he got up, and I thought, he's just going to go and report the. Because I know some game stores will do game slips for F&M, as like you would at a more competitive tournament, where you write down on the game slip and you sign it. He got up immediately and went over to the place where you report the.
Yeah, it's a friendly, informal kind of.
Exactly,
situation.
And I thought, okay, guy's a level 1 judge. I thought that was a bit weird, because he got up really quickly, and he went over to the counter to report the result, and I thought, I'm sure he's not putting the result in.
He's not going to give the wrong result.
Fundamentally, I assumed that at an F&M draft,
Yeah.
No one was just going to go up and straight up lie about the result. So I let it slide. Ultimately, I should have picked this up sooner because I didn't verify it with the... I didn't go up to the table and...
Oh, you must have got paired wrong in round 3.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing I've been thinking about. So I didn't go and check, hey, what result did that guy put in? Because I did find it a bit suspicious.
Yeah, but you don't want to be...
No, exactly.
You don't want to suspect...
If he put in the right result, I'd just be walking up and going, is my opponent cheating?
Yeah,
and I think that's something that we're going to need to be talking about. It's that kind of attitude.
Yeah, the culture of cheating.
Yeah, the culture of cheating and the culture of not wanting to accuse someone of cheating.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd done that, which meant that ultimately next round I got paired against someone who was on a win and a loss when I was at 2 wins. Which, first off, disadvantaged them.
Yeah.
You know, they got paired up, I got paired down, worked in my favour, I'm sure.
Advantage to you as well.
Advantage to me, which meant, weirdly, that my opponent ended up playing someone who was 2-0, who I should have been playing.
Who they did beat.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's weird, and it was only found out because it was still ticking over in my mind because I hadn't quite figured out. I should have figured it out just from the pairings, but I didn't at the time because I was thinking about other stuff.
It was only when the results came,
Yeah,
right?
it was when the prize packs were being given out, and he was given 4 packs, and I thought, oh, okay, sweet, maybe I'm getting 6 packs then, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I got 2, and that's when I went, hang on,
Yeah.
I beat that guy.
Yeah.
So it was a bit awkward because I didn't want to be the guy to speak up, and because people want to go home, it's the end of F&M.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold people up, but I went, did I not win the pod because I went 3-0? At this point, I think the guy had already opened his packs or like stashed them away because nothing was done about this.
Really?
Yeah. So
he got 4 packs.
Yeah, I think
you got an extra.
Yeah, I got an extra 2 to make it even. But yeah, the guy just got more packs than he deserved. And yeah, it's just I found it really strange because I'm sure that there is more cheating in Magic than I'm aware of. I think that's the thing. I'm sure people have cheated against me. I don't know how much because I didn't catch them. Likewise. Everyone is guilty of making illegal plays sometimes. Everyone misplays cards by mistake. That sort of thing where someone will play a card, say an effect because they think that's what it does. Their opponent goes, yeah, sure. People playing an extra land in their turn.
You can cheat by accident.
You can cheat by mistake, definitely.
But that's not even cheating within. There's a difference, isn't there, to cheating on a board state and manipulating the game outside of an actual physical game of cards. In a way that's it's unsportsmanly, isn't it?
It is, and it caught me a bit off guard because I still don't know what happened there because in my mind I want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt and I want to think what he did was he went up and said 2-0 and it was misconstrued. That's what I'm thinking is the possible explanation for this if he wasn't cheating was that he went up, said the result was 2-0 and the guy went, okay, you went 2-0 because typically it's the winner who goes up to report. That's usually the way.
It's not what he said, though. He would have said that if that was what had happened.
Yeah, it was just weird because he ultimately went. Yeah, but he was telling people that he'd lost to me, so this is what confused me. So
it's weird, isn't it?
I don't know if he was deliberately cheating, but I do know that from now on, I'm not going to let anyone else give the result in if I win because it didn't just mess. Ultimately, I got the prize packs, I won the draft, but
it messed the pod up.
It messed up the pairings for other people.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit weird. So I think jumping off this. Let's talk about cheating in a broader sense in Magic. And at this point, do get in touch with us if you've been cheated against. We do have an email account, don't we?
Yeah, we do. thrivingscrubs@gmail.com.
Yeah, send us through some stories if you've got any sort of similar things. I'm sure we're not alone in this, but cheating in general in Magic the Gathering is something that I think when we started, obviously people cheat. It's a game.
Yeah.
At all games, people cheat. I can't think of, unless...
No, wherever there's room for it, people try and cheat. I can't say I do. I really don't... There's no satisfaction for me in winning a game that I haven't played fairly.
Exactly.
But it does seem to be constant in Magic, and people are always doing new ways. And again, ways that are... So technically, if your opponent misses a trigger, and you notice it and don't call it, you're cheating.
Yeah.
It is both players' job to maintain the board state appropriately. And you'll see it if you watch professional Magic. If either player misses any trigger, both players get a warning. It's not, you don't look after your board state and they look after theirs. It's a game that you play together. And when I got into Magic, and still now I've not been made world weary, I really like the camaraderie and the sportsmanship that Magic seems to contain. People do it doesn't seem to be overly competitive in as much as people will be vindictive to each other or aggressive to each other or cheat, but it does seem to pop up the first time.
And when it does pop up, I think it's to the community's credit that it pops up very rarely. It is something that pops up. People get caught on camera playing extra lands. People get caught straight up cheating. But by and large, I think there is this for the community in general. I don't want this to sound like we're accusing the community.
No, of course, but it could happen more often than we think. Travis Wu. Again, get on our podcast. Travis Wu said that he calls for a deck check in every sealed competitive match he plays now. Because people do just play the wrong deck.
Yeah, if he loses and they've got really good rares, he's advocating that people in competitive events, obviously, we're not talking about pre-release, because first off, people don't tend to register their decks at pre-release. But anything where decks are registered, his argument is, if you lose to an opponent with really good cards, if you just, say, I'm not accusing you of cheating,
That's-
I've just been cheated against before, and this is what I'm doing to ensure that I'm not, losing to cheaters.
That's the key, isn't it? Because you feel like you're being a right dick when you go, I'm going to call, because if they haven't cheated, they'll quite rightfully be maybe slightly offended by that or whatever. But I think everyone should reserve the right to check, because if you've got nothing to hide, then let's just do it. Let's just make the deck check, or let's do whatever.
And I think ultimately the attitude that players should be taking is, if your opponent does, if you beat your opponent fair and square with the pool you opened, because in particular we should say this is talking about sealed,
where it is really easy to just swap cards in and out.
It's feasibly very easy to bring a Glory Bringer with you and just put it in your deck.
Exactly.
That's something you could do. And it's something that's very easy to do if we're talking about the technicality of it.
Yeah.
Like there's no technique required.
It's not hard. It's not mana weaving, is it?
No, it's not difficult. That's the argument, and I think ultimately it's just down to, if your opponent calls for a deck check against you, and you have, presumably you've opened good rares, or you just smashed them.
Yeah.
I think ultimately we've just got to be accepting of that. If someone asks for a deck check on you, take it as a compliment.
Yeah. There is another way to.
You crushed them. Your pool was great.
And it's, if neither of you are cheating, then you unite against the cheaters. Go, no, please, I haven't cheated. Make you be, have peace of mind. And mana weaving was another thing. There was a banning at. Someone got banned from playing at GP Manchester.
Yeah,
I forget the name. Fabrizio Antari, our team captain for Britain.
Yeah.
So that was slightly,
because it was our first Grand Prix that. And,
it was.
The rumours just started flying around that Fabrizio.
All the whispers.
Fabrizio had been disqualified, and it turned up what he was doing was essentially just mana weaving, which, for those who aren't aware of what that means, is just basically spacing the lands out evenly in your deck deliberately, and then not properly shuffling the deck, just to ensure that you're drawing a good mix of lands and spells.
Does it involve turning your lands the wrong way round so you can locate them? Is that what it is?
I don't think that's what he was doing, though. I think what he was doing was just, he was looking at his deck, but moving the lands around as he was doing it. And basically, because it's not, that's the kind of thing where I think, especially if you're playing casually or you're a new player, you might not even think of that as cheating. It might not spring to your mind that is cheating. But Magic relies on decks being random, and it relies on variance.
Yeah.
So if you're taking steps to counter that aren't within the rules of the game, then that is technically cheating.
Yeah.
So
that massively, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it's
drawing a land or drawing a spell can win or lose you a game.
It's as against the rules as pulling a card out of your shoe. It's on the same level, while it may seem less severe. And technically, playing 2 lands when you're not allowed to is cheating.
Oh, massive.
So this is the thing.
Yeah.
It's about keeping track of that. And again, Travis Wu's been particularly vocal about this, because he has been, I think, perhaps too aggressively, but we'll see. I'm not saying, just saying, I understand where he's coming from, and,
What's that smell? Is that some beef?
That may be a hint of beef, yeah. I like Travis Wu. I think, he's got a bit of a bad rep for some things he said that he shouldn't have said, and he knows he shouldn't have said them.
I think it's okay.
But yeah, it's understandable, because for him, playing competitively is far more important than it is to us. So I can understand that he'd be more worried about it. I've forgotten what point I was trying to make there.
I think you just hate Travis Wu. That was what you were saying. No, for him it's particularly important, and he's draft master at the moment, so he can't afford to come up against cheaters. Yeah. And if he does, thinks it's a possibility. Anyone, even if you're at F&M, even if just me and you sat across the table in a building, cheating is not on, and it doesn't matter what game you're playing. If you're playing Monopoly, you give yourself an extra tenner. I'll come after you. You know?
And the worrying thing about it is, while we could, take this as an opportunity to go, don't cheat, it's bad because blah. Everyone who doesn't cheat knows this already, and everyone who is going to cheat is aware that it is not okay.
Yeah. So I guess really what the message is to challenge.
Yeah, be a bit
not aggressively. But be vigilant, and if you think there's cheating, say so, because the non-cheaters have to unite against the cheaters. Yeah. And it's a very, very, very small number, obviously.
And by say so, we're not talking about flipping the table, screaming judge, and
just be professional and friendly about it.
I'm just going to stop the game for a second. Yeah. I'm going to call a judge over. I just want to check something. Get the judges involved. It's ultimately what they're there for. Yeah. That's what made it awkward about me
he's a level 1 judge
I was playing. He was a level 1 judge. He was, I believe, the only judge in the store at the time. So
because ultimately, you can be friendly about it, because ultimately, if they are cheating, they're going to look like a dick. You're going to look great.
Yeah.
So don't get aggressive about it. Yeah,
No,
just do it. Just treat it like another part of the game, because it unfortunately it is a small part of the game. And if you make an accusation, you get it wrong, you say, I apologise.
Yeah,
I got cheated against last week. I just wanted to make sure.
I'm very sorry about that. It's not personal.
Your deck's really good. Well done.
Exactly.
All right, we've covered that.
Yeah.
You've vented.
I've vented.
You've been venting.
It's been bothering me ever since. It's just been on my mind.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it was deliberate.
Yeah.
That's the
We'll
thing.
never. I guess we'll never fully know, will we? But let's move on to actually talk about the Magic cards.
Okay.
Playing them properly. Etherworks Marvel was banned. What seems like an age ago now.
Yeah, a while back.
And
we're very into new standard, but I haven't really been following it, so I'm relying on you here for some information.
Well, good. That'll put you in good stead. If we look at the metagame breakdown of the last 2 weeks, then overall there's been zero combo, obviously, because combo doesn't exist right now.
We're talking about new perspectives and that sort of thing. It's just not around.
Well, that's not even. Yeah, it's not turning up. I guess I'd forgotten that. That's the only combo deck
that we know of
in standard. Well, yeah, that's being played. Obviously, they could be hidden somewhere.
I believe it's possible.
So far, 91% of the metagame. Guess if it aggro or control.
I'm gonna guess it's aggro.
It's aggro. 91% of the last 2 weeks have been aggro decks.
I thought you were going to throw me a real curve.
No, I don't know why it took you so long. So the control is some combination of blue, white, and green, and sometimes Dynavolt Tower, sometimes Torrential, well, always Torrential Gearhulk, I assume.
There's often quite a lot of variables in control decks as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there's cards here and there that switch, and either you're either on the energy plan or not. Or,
different people play different builds.
But let's go for the top 5 aggro decks. If you can tell me what they are, the top 5 aggro decks.
Okay. Timor Energy's got to be in there.
Yep.
Okay.
That comes first.
I've been hearing whispers of a Ketra's Monument. I think I heard someone say there was a blue-white Ketra's Monument list.
Blue-white Ketra's Monument is second, tied for second at the moment.
Okay.
Over the last 2 weeks. It's a very good deck.
So I need to name 3 more decks.
3 more. One of them, 2 of them, in fact, you should definitely get. They were at the Pro Tour.
Oh, is Mardu Vehicles still going?
Mardu Vehicles.
Okay, Mardu Vehicles. They were at the Pro Tour, you say?
Yeah.
Well,
one of them are...
Zombies. Is it Mono Black or...
Mono Black Zombies.
Mono Black Zombies, and then...
And then Winding Constrictor.
Oh, okay, so just the green black counters.
The Golgari aggro decks, yeah. So that is a broader... If you take those 5 and then the control decks, group them into one, as I think we probably can, that's 6 viable decks. That's nice.
That we know of. It's still early days.
Yeah, and then you do have like a Humans White Weenie. There are some emerged decks. There's Heavy Metal, the Metalwork Colossus deck. So the reason why we were pulling so hard for Etherworks Marvel to be banned is precisely this. I think the metagame has widened up. People are having more fun. Ketra's Monument, I don't think could have been played against Etherworks Marvel decks.
Probably not.
It's a bit too slow. And yeah, eking out value in the way that it does, it just wouldn't quite have worked.
So what's in that deck? So Spell Queller must be in there.
Well, this is the thing, and this is part of what I was talking about with the metagame being a social construction, is that when this deck, first off, it was mono white originally, and then people started to add Spell Queller and Cloud Blazer to it.
Okay.
Cloud Blazer is brilliant in it.
Yeah, sure, because it costs 4 when you cast it with a Ketra's Monument, sure.
And you make a 1/1.
Yeah.
But originally, when this deck first started popping up and people going, oh look, someone's having fun with a Ketra's Monument, it's never going to work. The deck built itself. People made innovations here and there. People added Bygone Bishop, which is brilliant in the deck because you're casting multiple creatures every turn. People added Hanweir Militia Captain.
Because you're getting so many guys.
You flip it. It flips so quickly. And that card's always been on the verge of being really, really good.
I've always really liked that card.
People started playing Aviary Mechanic, which I thought was genius.
Yeah.
Because then you can either just bounce, if you get 2 of them, you cast them for 1 with a monument out, make a token, bounce the other one, play it for 1, make a token, bounce the other one. Or you start bouncing, whatever, a Thraben Inspector, recast it, another clue, another trigger on the monument. It was really, really cool. What's happened over the past week or so is the deck seems to have solidified. I had a look at quite a few decks on MTG online, and they're all running basically the same set of creatures. They're all running 3 Dusk to Dawns and then some Metallic Rebukes.
So what's Dust to Dawn for then?
Well,
is that against what deck stack?
It's very good against Temur Energy. It's
Okay.
very good against Golgari Constrictor.
That makes sense.
And doesn't hit any of the creatures in the deck.
Yeah.
But returns all of them. So
alright, that's sweet.
There are some you'd side it out, I'm sure, against like Control, but even then it kills Torrential Gale. And then some Monuments, and then some Stasis Snare cast out.
Okay.
Combination. But the creatures now, it seems to be 4 Raven Inspector, 4 Spell Queller, 4 Selfless Spirit, 4 Handwear Militia Captain, 4 Cloud Blazer, 4 Bygone Bishop.
That's just neat. That's a good
and
deck
Westvale Abbey is obviously a win-con as well.
Yeah.
But the innovation stopped. It's got to the point now where no one's going, oh, what about this? And maybe that's how Constructed works. Perhaps you do end up at the best list, and then the invention stops.
That's the nature of having deck lists online.
Oh, yeah, that obviously changed Magic and continues to.
We'll probably have a whole future episode on net decking basically.
But that's
a controversial one.
Cards of Gisela was in there, Angel of Invention was in there. There were one-off Bruners. There was a Thalia's Lancers build.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. And they're all gone. Like this is the deck now. So
I mean, it's not that you can't play them. It's just that the people who are doing best with it are playing this particular build.
Or maybe people don't want to take risks. People think that to do the best, you have to play this exact list. So I don't know. It's food for thought. I just like innovation, and particularly in Standard, because it's what I play. Maybe part of it is having such a large Standard at the moment, all the way back to Zendikar.
I believe the next rotation is in September when Ixalan comes out, so we'll be losing Zendikar block, I think.
Just Zendikar block?
Might also be Shadows over Innistrad block.
Okay. So that was what I was talking about earlier with the drafting, where you go, oh, it's a slow format, and then everyone goes, no, it's a fast format, and everyone goes, okay, it's a fast format, and then it becomes a fast format.
And then someone goes, oh, everyone's playing these aggro decks, I'm going to pick up all these slow cards, and it's the same sort of
thing. The same thing kind of happens in Constructed, because it's like, oh, this card's fun, oh, this card, oh, look, I've done an invention thing, and then go, oh no, this exact list has posted good results for 3 days in a row. Go, oh, well, I better not change anything with it then. I better keep playing it, because otherwise I won't win. And then it kind of fulfills its self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. Maybe not.
We'll see how
bloody
it goes.
net deckers.
Oh man, that's an episode in and of itself. Because I think there's some very wide-ranging opinions about net decking. Yeah. We can perhaps cover a few different takes on it.
Well,
not today.
Zombies seems to be similar. Again, Zombies is I can Metallic Mimic, Relentless Dead, Lord of the Accursed, Dread, Wanderer, Diagraph, Colossus, Crypt Breaker, Dark Salvation, Fatal Push, Grasp of Darkness, Liliana's Mastery.
Yeah, great.
You're not going to see many changes from that list.
It's a good deck.
It's a good deck, so that's fine, I guess. Yeah. But the deck, interestingly, where I see the most variation is the most popular deck in the format, which is Temur Energy.
Yeah, because you can build that in so many different ways.
Lists change a lot. Like, I've got 2 lists. There was a tournament where Temur Energy came first and second, and one of those lists is running Kozilek's Returns and 4 Elder Deep Fiends.
Nice.
And 4 Tireless Tracker. The other one is running none of those cards. Is running 4 Heart of Kiran, which the other deck isn't, and is running Ronas and 4 Greenbelt Rampager. Yeah. There's so much variation. It's really, really cool. And neither of these decks are running Chandra, but Chandra's very viable.
Yeah.
So that's an archetype that I quite like, and I think it actually moves in your favour, because now if I'm playing against an Aketra's Monument deck, I know the list.
Yeah.
But when you're playing against an energy deck, you're going, I have no idea. Could be a Tireless Tracker coming my way, could be a Ronas, could be a Heart of Kiran, or
the fear of Ronas is real.
Oh, Ronas!
You never know when they're going to be running Ronas.
Nightmares. So I think that's contrasting to the white. Blue Monument deck. It's really nice that the Temur Energy decks are being really successful, but all seem really, really varied.
I love that there's a version that runs 4 Elder Deep Fiends. I think every game day I've gone to, there's always been someone running 4 Elder Deep Fiends. It's always been one person and they've just brought 4 Elder Deep Fiends, because if you're not expecting it, Elder Deep Fiend is just a game ender. You just go, but wait, hang on,
stop.
I must have a response to this. And you've got nothing. You don't have anything that deals with it.
Yeah. It is worth noting, actually, people have been listing Golgari Constrictor decks, and I'm looking at this Golgari Constrictor deck, and it is a green-black Delirium deck. There are 4 Winding Constrictors in it, but there's also Ishkana and Mindrak Demons and Grim Flayers
Does it still have Verdurous Gearhulk in
It's
it?
got 2 Verdurous Gearhulk,
Okay.
2 Rishkar. It's a really interesting amalgam of the 2.
I guess there's both, surely. There must be some people who go really far down the Delirium
Full
route,
Traverse.
some people who go more down the walking Ballista, Winding Constrictor, Rishkar route.
That deck, I think, is the deck I find least enjoyable to play against the Constrictor decks.
It sounds fun to play with, though.
Oh, it's awesome to play with. It's such a... The window's so small. If they play Winding Constrictor on turn 2 and you're like, if I don't kill this, they're going to have 2 5/5s next turn, you know? And yeah, Verdurous Gearhulk is back-breaking. It's just brutal in those decks. It's brutal anyway. When you double the counters that are getting put out, it's kind of silly. So that's standard. It is a very tight, at the moment as it's listed on MTG Topic, the gap in between the top 5 aggro decks. Mono Black is at 11% of the metagame. Mardu is at 14%. Golgari and Azorius are at 16%, and then Timor is at 18%. So there's only 7 points of difference between the top 5 decks, which is really cool. I really like that.
It's worth noting at this point that while we're recording this, there is a standard tournament going on. So for all we know, someone's just turned up with Fraying Sanity.
Someone's broken.
I really.
Oh, Fraying Sanity.
Because Fraying Sanity. For those who don't know, it is a new card. I'm going to let you read the exact wording on this as you have access to it in front of you.
I'll tell you what I'll do is I will load my Fraying Sanity deck.
Okay.
Obviously, I have one.
So Fraying Sanity is a mill card.
Yeah, it's a mill card. It costs 2 and a blue for an Aura Curse. Enchant player. At the beginning of each end step, enchanted player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards put into that graveyard from anywhere this turn.
It's cool.
It's really... You think about the amount of things with this card where they could have gone... Actually, no. It could have been at the beginning of their end step, but it's each end step. It could have been from the battlefield or from their hand or from their library. It's from anywhere.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Does that include tokens? Because tokens go to the graveyard.
That is something I haven't checked. That hasn't come up whilst I'm playing. Technically, they do go to the graveyard.
I think tokens do count.
Yeah.
Let us know in an email if we're wrong. Once again, that's thrivingscrubs@gmail.com.
Boom. Yeah, I think that's right. The card's great. It interacts really well with itself because they stack, and obviously the ability checks itself on resolution, so X grows exponentially.
Oh, wow, yeah. So if you've got 2 of them out, the first trigger happens. So let's say the first trigger, they've put 3 cards in their graveyard. So
I'll give you a scenario because I did this yesterday. You've got they're enchanted with 2 Fraying Sanities, and then you cast Startled Awake.
Right, so what happens there is you mill them for 13, the first trigger happens, they mill for another 13, and then they mill for another 26.
Yeah. That's game.
That's game.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
It is clearly, to me, the strongest mill card since Sphinx's Tutelage.
Yeah, is it better?
It's different.
It's different.
The thing about Sphinx's Tutelage was that and Fevered Visions were the only cards that it didn't really mill your opponent until...
You mill them all pretty much in
you
one
mill
go.
them all in one because you
you were
draw.
casting Treasure Cruise and
it was
stuff
about
like that.
Yeah, it was about windmilling your deck, whereas this... Like, Sphinx's Tutelage never played Startled Awake.
No, it didn't.
But this deck...
Well, it wasn't legal at the same time, I don't think.
Oh, is that true?
I don't think it was legal
Oh, yeah,
at the
no,
same
you
time.
would be right. Yeah, sorry. But it wouldn't have anyway, would it?
No.
Because it was about drawing. You didn't mill them, you drew to trigger your tutelage, and that was how it all worked. So I'll be interested to see if quite how it works out.
I think it sounds viable.
It sounds viable.
Paper,
you need the
sounds
metagame.
like it works.
Yeah. Sphinx's Tutelage won 1 GP, and it's because no one was ready for it.
Yeah.
And then everyone kind of got ready for it, so it could be that it gets hated out. Maybe it has a moment in the sun, and then it
There are
disappears.
sideboard cards available to counter mill, but for people to be playing those cards, they need to be expecting a heavy mill metagame. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
And I want to know if like Compelling Argument goes in that deck. How all in are you? Because Compelling Argument just mills for 5, but it does cycle.
Yeah, no. All right, that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that because I'm sure some lists will pop up with that deck. You know, someone's whether it's Saffron Olive putting one together or whether it's just someone doing well with it at an event.
That'll be in against the odds in no time.
Yeah, if it's not already been done, then
here's a question for you off the top of my head.
Go on then.
Which is better, Hour of Devastation or Hour of Revelation?
Hour of Revelation is which one's out?
It's the white one. It costs 3 and 3 white.
Hour of Devastation is better.
You think?
I think so. So the difference, Hour of Devastation is 3 white, destroy all non-land permanents, right?
Yeah, and it only costs 3 white if there's 10 or more permanents.
Yeah, that's good, but then I think Hour of Devastation, it costs 1 less, so it's 3 red, red. Creatures lose indestructible, and it does 5 damage to each creature in each planeswalker.
Yeah.
I think Hour of Devastation is better.
That seems to be what everyone is saying. They both deal with planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Like, Hour of Revelation technically does it better. It can kill Bolas, or if Chandra's on 6, it still kills Chandra. And destroys vehicles, which Revelation doesn't do.
Which Devastation doesn't do.
Devastation, sorry.
It's a confusing question.
The only thing that matters is gods and indestructible creatures, because Hour of Revelation wrecks gods.
Yeah, definitely.
Hour of Devastation wrecks gods. Hour of
red one.
Revelation doesn't, because it says destroy and they're indestructible.
Yeah. I just think Hour of Devastation is better. It's easier to cast. I see where you're coming from. Like, fundamentally, if you're going which of these effects is better, the white one is. But the white one costs 1 more mana, which is more than 1 more turn if you're being realistic with yourself. 3 of them have to be white, and Hour of Devastation just deals with a lot of different things. I think it's a bit more flexible. I
think you are right, ultimately. I just think Hour of Revelation, the white one, hasn't been given enough credit. I think we need to count ourselves as pretty... This set has got 3 legitimate wraths in it. You've got Bontu's Last Reckoning as well.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since we've got proper wraths.
Blue, meanwhile, is just sitting with Engulf the Shore or whatever the closest thing to a blue wrath is. Crush of Tentacles.
Crush of Tentacles.
Which is about to rotate out, so is Engulf the Shore.
Yeah. That just came to me.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, I think that'll probably wrap it up for the first podcast, will it not?
We said we were going to do some MTG roulette.
Yeah, well, let's wrap up the episode and then we'll get into our sign-off. So, as we mentioned, we exist in other places. You can find our YouTube channel just by searching Thriving Scrubs. You should be able to find it that way. Give us a subscribe on there. That's more sort of video content. It's got all sorts of stuff on there. We've got some Magic Story videos.
We've got lists.
We've got everyone loves a list. We've got some lists on there. And just some general sort of MTG chat. So if you've liked this, there's more on YouTube. We're also on Twitter. We're at Thriving Scrubs. And once again, you can contact us. We're thrivingscrubs@gmail.com.
Or tweet us.
Yeah, tweet us. Do whatever you please. If you enjoyed this podcast, leave us a review on iTunes. Can't hurt.
Oof.
You know,
that'll be lovely.
Just a little one. You don't even need to write anything. Just write 5 stars, Scrubs. That'll do. Something like that.
You utter scrub.
And if you're watching on YouTube, just like the video.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's really easy to do. That'll wrap it up for this first podcast. Thank you for listening. All right, we're going to play something called Gatherer Roulette. Now, Jack, what is Gatherer Roulette?
Gatherer Roulette is hard to pronounce, but it's a simple game. You go onto Gatherer, you click random card, you look at it. It's not a game you can play on your own.
Yeah, so it's just about looking at a random Magic card and talking about it. I think we should have some kind of rating system here where we, like, not a complex one, just a sort of yes-no kind of thing about how we feel about the card. So what I'm trying to sort of make up something on the fly. What's our positive? Yeah, we like this card.
I think we should go rank it now and then. If you slotted it into standard, how would it do? And how do we guess it did back then? Because we don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Thought Prison.
Well, I've never heard of this card.
Me neither. Costs 5 generic mana for an artifact. Another thing about Gatherer Roulette is you have to read what's printed on the card, not the updated version. Although I think with this card it's okay. It has imprint.
Remind me what imprint is.
I'll tell you now because I'm not sure. I think you discard a card of some sort when it enters. When Thought Prison comes into play, that's already wrong.
Go on.
You may have target player reveal his or her hand. If you do, choose a non-land card from it and remove that card from the game. The removed card is imprinted on this artifact. Whenever a player plays a spell that shares a colour or converted mana cost with the imprinted card, Thought Prison deals 2 damage to that player. I really thought that it would be like counter that spell.
Just so to simplify this, it costs 5 mana. It comes down, they reveal their hand and you imprint one of their cards.
A non-land card from it.
Yeah, and then when they cast a spell that's the same colour or converted mana cost.
Yeah.
I mean, same colour could be... It costs 5 mana to do this.
It's a 5, like, Thoughtseize effect, I guess.
I mean, is this a rare? It must be a rare.
It looks like it's an uncommon from Mirrodin.
Of course it is.
I think that if that was in standard right now, it wouldn't be good.
I don't think that would be good in standard. No, it's quite slow. But
very slow.
I could also see, like, I feel like maybe we're underrating the whole converted mana cost color share thing, because that if they're playing a monocolor deck, that's every spell.
Who plays monocolor decks?
Some people.
Zombies.
You
wait until turn 5 to cast this against zombies, and then it deals 2 damage to them. That's all it does.
Yeah.
If that deals 2 damage to them every turn, that's a really expensive sulfuric vortex.
Yeah, true. Okay, yeah, no, I'm. So what are we giving it? A no.
I'm giving it a no on all counts.
I'm giving this scrubs rating. This card is for scrubs.
Should we? Let's get out of there. Let's do another one.
All right.
Akuta, Born of Ash.
This must be a legendary creature, right?
Oh, you're good at this. It costs 2 and 2 black for a 3/2 legendary spirit creature.
Ooh.
With haste. At the beginning of
Black, you say?
Black. It happens.
I know it happens, but go on.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have more cards in hand than each opponent, you may sacrifice a swamp. If you do, return Akuta Born of Ash from your graveyard to play.
Okay, so this is a 3/2 haste for 2 and 2 black, right?
To the battlefield.
Okay, so yeah, it's a 3/2 haste for 4 mana,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all it does when it's out.
Yep.
But
in your upkeep, if you have more cards than your opponent, you can sack a swamp and resurrect Akuta.
I mean, cards that like black cards that resurrect are usually pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not got flying, does it? It's just haste.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of this.
Well,
sacking a swamp.
I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's not in Dredge, so it can't be that. The spots for Dredge are pretty tough, but this card it works in Dredge.
Yeah,
but it's not played in Dredge.
Yeah.
I think that if it was in Standard right now, it would be quite bad. A 3/2.
Is this from Kamigawa?
How are you doing this?
I just know more about Magic than you.
Oh, yeah.
Fundamentally been proven.
It's a rare from Sabers of Kamigawa.
Okay, it was just the name, and there were loads of legendary creatures there. I wouldn't play this card in Standard right now. Would I? Maybe I'm really wrong there, but there's so much doubt involved in Gatherer Roulette, because at any given time we could be talking about a format-defining card and going, nah, it's rubbish.
Nah, it's terrible.
We could be the equivalent of the people who saw Siege Rhino and went, nah, maybe I want Palooka. We could be those people.
We are those people.
It's scary, but
We're the thriving
This
scrubs.
card's for scrubs?
Well, actually, in Standard, I don't know, with Scrap Heap Scrounger and Prized Amalgam and stuff, maybe?
Aren't both of them better than this?
Yeah, but with them.
With them, maybe. This card's for scrubs.
Let's get off this card before we say anything else wrong about it. This is the last one we're doing.
All right.
Oh, dear. Bottle of Suleiman.
Excuse me, this is from Arabian Nights, I'm guessing?
No.
No.
It's a rare from 4th edition.
Okay.
Okay. It costs 4 mana.
Suleiman is in, because that's a real person.
Yeah, but back in the day, they used to just put Shakespeare quotes and...
Yeah, sure. Just...
Okay, I'm going to read what's on the card. It costs 4 mana for an artifact.
This has to be bad. I'm just expecting this to be rubbish.
You can pay 1...
one generic mana.
1 generic mana is the cost, and then it says sacrifice Bottle of Suleiman. So that's been updated. Flip a coin.
Oh god. So it's pay one generic mana, sacrifice this, flip a coin.
Yeah.
Right.
Target opponent calls heads or tails while coin is in the air.
Explain the rules for how to flip a coin.
Yeah. Well, it has to be whilst they're in the air. If the flip ends up in opponent's favour, Bottle of Suleiman deals 5 damage to you.
What? Why am I running this card?
Otherwise...
What happens if you win?
It costs 4 mana and then you pay 1 and sack it to do this. What do you think the otherwise should be, at the very least?
It should at least do 5 damage to them.
You'd be happy with that, paying 5 damage to
I wouldn't be happy with it, I'm just saying, is that what it does?
Otherwise, put a Djinn token into play. Treat this token as a 5/5 artifact creature with flying.
That is awful.
That's straight terrible.
So you pay 5 mana.
Yeah.
If you lose the flip, you yourself.
It costs 4. You pay 1, sack it, flip a coin. If you win the flip, create a 5/5 colourless Djinn artifact creature token with flying. If you lose the flip, it deals 5 damage to you.
If this was a 5 mana, 5/5 Djinn artifact creature with flying, it would not see play in Standard.
No.
It just
be
wouldn't.
Pretty good and limited.
Yeah, no, in limited.
It'd be very good in limited.
Yeah,
in fact, Sign of Ugin was up there.
Yeah, sure.
But
God's
I think,
terrible.
to be fair, in fact, because I can find this and we've done well at not swearing, shall we just say what we think about this card? It's a fucking piece of shit.
It's fucking bollocks.
It's
man.
absolute wank. Only cunts play this card.
Fuck this.
Fuck this card.
I assume you're bleeping over all that.
Yeah, I can find that and I'll bleep it all.
Amazing.
It'll be fine. Thanks for watching. Gather Roulette's fun.
I like
it.
Gather Roulette. All right, yeah, there'll be another episode probably next week, I'd say.
Yeah, why not?
Who knows what it'll be
We'll keep
about?
them coming.
Tune in, give us a subscribe, and bye.
Bye.